Alright guys, we have the factory doubled-in radio there. So for removal in the 2004 Toyota RAV4, we've already done some of the steps. We just want to give you guys kind of an overview. You want to actually pop these side panels here. These just have clips on the back of them. Just get a little panel puller tool. Pop these clips off so you can get access, pull these off. So you've got those pulled off. There's actually going to be 4 screws, and I've removed them. There's going to be one here up top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So remove those 4 screws, and when you do that, that'll actually give you the ability to then remove this panel right here. So once we remove that panel, we can then get access to the factory radio. The factory radio is secured into the chassis with 10mm bolts. I've actually gone ahead and removed those, which are right here, and these are 10mm. So with those removed, we can then pull the factory radio, and we can then disconnect the harnesses, which I've done. Now these particular factory brackets here, we're actually going to keep and use for our new Pioneer doubled-in. This actually in the Toyota makes it a real easy installation. So we'll remove these brackets with these bolts here and put this on our new unit. We use our new wire harness so we can make the appropriate connections to the factory harness, and then we'll put the cover back on here and our side pieces when we're all finished up. So I just wanted to guys show you that little brief, quick little install there, how you're going to gain access to the 2004 doubled-in radio in your Toyota RAV4. Yeah, there's those factory wires. We don't need an antenna adapter with this particular vehicle, so we're good there. Like I said, the factory wires will go to our wire harness, which will then connect to our factory radio. We'll use the exact same mounting holes there to install the new unit, and then we'll secure everything down. Yeah, I think it's always helpful to have a project board too, or a nice piece of cardboard or a box lid when you're doing an install. You can keep all your little parts, accessories, keep everything you need there kind of organized while you're getting everything ready. The factory radio has got brackets on there, factory brackets left and right. You're going to want to keep those brackets because you're actually going to be able to use those to then install then on your new double-din. So actually go ahead and get these removed here. I've got to actually loosen them up, so we'll get them removed and we can get then this bracket installed on the new double-din, and then we'll also make the appropriate connections here and get our wires all set up and squared away with our wire harness. We'll get the microphone cable plugged in, we'll get the USB, we'll get this all installed in the vehicle, and we'll show you guys. I'm going to get this last final screw off here, and then we'll have both the brackets removed, and then we'll have the brackets available, like I said, for remove from the factory radio there. And now we're going to be able to have for the left and right for our new double-din. So in the factory brackets actually more marked left and right, so you're going to want to just kind of line these up, see which way they fit. With this being a double-din and a Toyota, the good thing about Toyotas, usually these are a pretty quick identical fit. You just line it up and it's right there. You just want to make sure your holes are the same and get that mounted down. But just double check your chassis location holes on the side. They may be different depending on your vehicle, and just get it mounted in there. That way we have a way to secure this back to the vehicle. So we'll go, let's see here, should be right there. And see the actual unit just kind of, you saw before, is just kind of sitting here on the side. When you get it in the right place, guys, you'll know you got it there because it'll kind of just sit into place. Once you got it there, then you can just put your screws back in like you did before. We'll go ahead and start with this one here up top. Okay, and with those factory brackets, guys, removed, you can go ahead and, take one of them up. You're going to need those screws that we saw in the unboxing and installation there from the actual head unit. We'll get a few of those out here. We're going to need 4 per side. There is a 5th one and 6 available. You're going to take your bracket here. These are marked R and L for left and right from the factory. There's a little nub here on the back. These little nubs actually line up identical to the chassis. For the Toyotas, make it real easy because the brackets usually fit and it just kind of falls into place. You can see we have the nubs there. Well, once you're exactly lined up, the nubs will fall into place there, and then you're just going to take your provided screws and match up your holes accordingly, and we'll get all these screwed down. Yeah, there's just 4 of them there, and then we'll repeat the process on the opposite side. Get all these screwed in there. Dun 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 dun. So now we're going to take the wires that were supplied from the new head unit, which is actually the Pioneer, and we are going to get them connected to the wire harness, which is for our 2004 Toyota RAV4. We're going to be using things like heat shrink tubing and solder to make those connections. Some people, use butt connectors or just tie the wires together in electrical tape. I would really recommend the solder and heat shrink tubing, but I know a lot of people don't want to solder or use heat shrink, and that's fine. Butt connectors still work well. I've even seen people tie these together and tape them up. I've done it myself when I was a lot younger, so many ways, but you just want to basically match the wires together. All of this information is in the owner's manual, which one is this, but if you guys have been doing this for a while, you're probably not watching this video, and those that are kind of unfamiliar with what we're doing or the concept here, the cool thing is these wires are all color-coded, so you just begin the process of matching that up. There's a wire diagram chart color shipped with both of these, so you'll know which wires are which. In case you're unsure, you can just match them up, make your appropriate connections, and you'll be getting a step closer to the installation. Alright, so we got the head unit in there, and like we said, we're using the factory brackets there, so we're putting in the 4 bolts like we showed you when we took it out. So we'll put the 4 bolts in there. We've got our Bluetooth mic wired up here, so we're ready to go. The other thing we did, the Toyota had a cutout down here for accessories that we didn't have. We actually wired up a switch to the parking brake lead. The reason that we did that is so that we can turn off and on the ability to watch DVD from the front. We don't want to get pulled over. So we have that ability now with the switch down here. We can then watch DVD or not watch DVD. So that'll actually sit in the factory location. I'll just move those wires down there, and that's actually going to sit inside there. So it'll look kind of stealthy and clean. And then we've got the USB cable coming out of there, so we're ready to go. But yeah, I'm going to put the cover panel back on, and then we'll show you what it looks like, guys. But yeah, that's installation, kind of, a little bit. So we get the panel put on there, get all the pieces, and then you guys can see the finished product. Okay, so like we talked about, we got the head unit in. We've got our switch down here installed so that we can flip between video and not video while we're driving. We got our Bluetooth wired up. We went ahead and put in an RCA and a remote lead because we are going to be installing an amp and subwoofers later. But we went ahead and dropped that in behind the dash. So what we're doing, if you remember, we got the 4 bolts that hold the brackets and the unit in the dash. So we've got the 4 bolts actually back reinstalled. So what we're doing is actually just taking those 4 remaining screws and getting those reinstalled back here. Those screws actually held on this this panel here, which was your heating and air controls. So we get those screws put back on, and then we'll be ready to get our cover put back on, our whole trim ring, so that we can get everything, all buttoned up and organized exactly how it is supposed to be. Okay, now we got this particular top ring on because we have the 2 screws that were here on the sides. We got our microphone in place now. It's just a location just for testing right now, just to see how well it sounds. Pretty good location right here, and that is adjustable depending on what we need there. So we've got the other 2 screws that actually go right here, the top and the top. Those are the other last 2 remaining gold screws, so we can get those secured so that the remaining ring here is, oops, drop that one, don't you hate that? Drop the one there. Get this other one in there. That way we're all secured, and then we can put on those silver trim pieces that go just on the edge there. And with those silver trim pieces, we were actually thinking about making spraying those whites to color match the vehicle. So we'll just get that other screw put in there, and then we can get the silver pieces on. Alright guys, we got everything dialed in here. We got the deck on, we got the screen on. We're got to get a trim ring here that go around the edge to cover up this gap. So this particular unit, unless the box was missing, it didn't come with a trim ring, so I'm going to do some research on that. But yeah, I'll grab the Joby here. We got the microphone over here, and I'm going to move that wire. It's just I'm testing locations for sound, so once I get the exact sound location that I want, I will then move that accordingly. So, and then down here, like I talked about, I got a switch here that was, these are factory locations. I just put a switch in here. I'll show you why. So we can turn off the ability to watch DVD in the front. So, not that I'll watch movies while driving, but it is an option or for the passenger. And in case somebody gets pulled over, we want to be able to flick the switch and go back to normal. So real cool switch that I just custom mounted there. Use one of the cutouts there. And then down here, I don't use the ashtray. So that's where I've actually hidden the USB cable for the iPod. But yeah, that is part of Project RAV4. The head unit has been installed. Like I said, I'm going to get a trim ring here, which is just ABS plastic. It'll just cover this gap right here, which is not a big deal. So, but yeah, we installed the Pioneer AVH-200BT in the 2004 Toyota RAV4. We already had it doubled in, but yeah, here we go. We are knee-deep in it. Project RAV4. So what do you guys think about this? It just got Scary Movie 2 in there as a DVD tester. Alright guys, just wanted to give you a quick update there. We got this installed, and I'm 34, I've done car stereo installation since I was 16. It's just kind of one of my little hobbies. And my parts catalog that I queried for, you know, dash kit and wire harness eluded me to just the single DIN. I don't even know why I picked it up. Well, I do, because it was after midnight last night. I was extremely exhausted, but it wasn't for the double DIN. So when I went over to I called somebody that I, know, and I said, hey, can you check your catalog? They had an updated catalog, so it included the double DIN. So what I actually picked up to complete this installation, and I want to make sure I shared it with you guys because it's very important for those with the double DIN, instead of me getting ready to customize some ABS plastic, this is actually the Metra 95-8202. What this does is this provides the actual blackout pieces for right here to fill this gap. I knew that it existed. Like I said, I went with one catalog that was out of date and got the part, and then realized that, oh, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. That's not going to work. So I didn't even use that dash kit. You can still use that dash kit and all the information from that in the video if you've got a single DIN. But if you've got the double DIN, you're still going to use the factory brackets. Everything's the same as we showed you, except we're going to actually add these brackets in on top of the factory ones. So we can either use the factory brackets and do, our own plastic here, or we can make it easy and just switch that out to the Metra 95-8202. All this will be down in the description below, so I want to make sure I provided that important update for all of you guys for the double DIN. So we'll get this, I'll show you guys this when we pull it out here and put these pieces on, what it'll look like when we're all finished up. And just looking from the side there, if you've got your brackets on, basically what that Metra kit does, there's tabs right here that come on this kit, and depending on which model year vehicle you have, you'll want to cut that tab off right there. So for our particular vehicle, we cut that tab off. What this does, we'll pull these two screws off here, we'll put this on, then we'll have our screws to give us our cover there, and that'll give us that front decorative piece that we need to hide everything. Just wanted to give you guys that side view of it there. Make sure I have the right piece here. You can see how the screw holes there line up underneath. You can see there. So you just pull these out and run them back through. Alright there, and you can see we got both screws in there. Depending on which size screws that your kit came with, for example, depending on what head unit you have is going to dictate what size screws. You may need to use a longer one. These are countersunk for your screws, however, you may need to use a longer one depending on your particular application and head unit, what was supplied. But that's what it looks like with them on the side, and we'll just repeat the process on the other side. Okay, so we're putting the two screws here, the gold ones, as you remember, before we put this on. And we went ahead and we've got all the screws in on the side, the two bolts that went back here, the 10 millimeters that secured the factory bracket to the chassis. And then we added, like we talked about, the Metra kit. So apologize there in the beginning of the video. That still is everything identical to the installation. The only thing you want to do is just pop the two screws on the end like you saw here in this little supplemental add-on to this current video, just to get these side pieces on. You can make your own trim if you want, or you can use the Metra kit, the 95-8202, which is what we use. So I'll go ahead and actually put this top panel piece back in here, and then that clicks into place. And we'll take our remaining two gold screws, which secure one up here on the top. Go ahead and get that here real quick. La 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 la. Get that one screwed on. And we'll put this other gold one in. Like I said, there's four. Two in the top and two in the bottom. You got to remove these in order to gain access to that factory radio or the chassis, as you saw here in the video, which I hope you guys enjoy. So make sure you guys give us a thumbs up, full 1080p. Now that we've got that in there, you can see that gives us that much better finished appearance. So we're going to go ahead and take our trim panels here that just pop on the side. And this is what I was actually talking about, these trim panels. I actually think I want to paint them white to match the color of the vehicle. So I think I'm going to just rough these up and then spray them white and then clear them, just to kind of give it a white accent inside the vehicle. So now we click that final piece on, and you can see there we now have the Pioneer AVH-200BT completely installed in the 2004 RAV4. We now have the finished edge. As you saw, it looks a lot better, and it's a lot quicker than me having to fabricate some pieces. I knew there was a kit, but like I said, every vehicle is different, guys, so there's going to be a kit for every vehicle. This is going to fit a lot of your Toyotas for the double DIN, but just double check. Like I said, good reference to use is crutchfield.com. They're always going to give you accurate, up-to-date information. The information I had wasn't as accurate or up-to-date, so that's why I had that little snafu. But with a quick trip visit to Best Buy, local Best Buy here in Springfield, Illinois, I grabbed that from a friend in the install bay real quick, so then I was able to get that installed. So yeah, there you go, guys. Double DIN installation, full 1080p, 2004 Toyota RAV4, all part of the Project RAV4. If we could, guys, please give me a thumbs up for this video. I apologize, like I said, for the little misinformation, but there is no change other than pulling the last 2 screws off and adding that on, putting these trim pieces on, which you guys saw in the video. Just follow the instructions there. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, this is kind of stage 1 here of Project RAV4. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like I said, Ryan Rigg, the host of your show. If I could, give me a thumbs up. Add this to your favorites. Subscribe to us. Check out both of our channels. This channel, our gaming channel. We'll see you on the next episode, guys. Hope you enjoy this video. And don't forget, guys, like we talked about, I'll show you that custom switch too. See, it says you can't watch video, but like we said, we custom installed a switch down here in a factory location, and that's where we've routed the USB cable for our iPod, so we can just flick that switch. And now if you look up there, all we gotta do is hit OK.